I'm fascinated by the Florida-Tennessee game. And I don't think Tennessee is a team that's going to compete this year to win the East. But I look at Florida athletically and having found a way to get there the last 2 years as a team with Georgia that would be the favorites. But Florida's offense was so overmatched by Michigan's defense. They didn't play last week. But watching Florida get manhandled at the line of scrimmage, to me, was the biggest surprise of week one. Tennessee's defense is like Swiss cheese. If you watch them against Georgia Tech giving up 500 rush yards, it's that, the movable force against the resistible object sort of thing. If Florida's offense can't move the ball against that Tennessee defense, Georgia might as well go punch their ticket to Atlanta right now because they will win the East and do so easily. Florida's offense is at home, coming off of the emotional week with the hurricane and all that they've been through there in Florida over the last week. And if Florida's offense can't get something going against Tennessee in a rivalry game this week, that is a big, big problem for Jim McElwain and that team.
Yeah, if there was a concerning win, meaning you won the game, you got through it, but you still have to be concerned, and you were playing a decent opponent in week one, it had to be Tennessee, Georgia Tech, because they looked awful. They looked awful on offense, but Georgia Tech just doesn't have the type of offense that's going to let the game get away against a decent opponent. And then they fumble the ball inside the 5-yard line up a touchdown late in the game, and it gives Tennessee. And they pulled it together on offense. So I don't know if you walk away from that if you're Butch Jones thinking, wow, we got to win when we shouldn't have. And, man, I love the guts of this team, and we battled back and we did it. But, wow, we've got some issues to fix.
Tennessee has, I think, sincere issues defensively. The other game I'm interested in watching is South Carolina, Kentucky. And no, I'm not taking crazy pills. I actually think that that's something intriguing because South Carolina has been impressive the first 2 weeks of the season. And in what feels like a pretty wide open East, they may be a team to challenge. Kentucky has beaten South Carolina 3 straight years. And last year embarrassed South Carolina in Lexington. If South Carolina, touchdown favorite at home against Kentucky, if they can't get by Kentucky, well, then we'll know they were pretenders. But if they continue their pace and start 3-0, 2-0 against Eastern Division teams, then all of a sudden the perceived frontrunners in the East better pay attention to what Will Muschamp's doing in Columbia.
Exactly. When you say perceived contenders, we have it almost locked in our brains that the East is split. It's a clear split. Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, they're the elite. The rest of it just falls into place, and hopefully you can beat the other ones to get to postseason play, get your 6 wins, and get out of there. But I still expect NC State to be a pretty decent team. They should win 7 or 8 games, and South Carolina took care of them. And it's no big deal beating Mizzou, but they did it on the road. They were a 3-point underdog, and they played the type defense that they need to hold down Drew Lock, and they only gave up 13 points. So this will be interesting to see out of those two who might be able to challenge the upper echelon there.
I think it's going to be South Carolina. I'm impressed by Jake Bentley. He keeps getting better. They have a dynamic playmaker in Deebo Samuel who can change the game not only on offense, but we saw special teams as well with a kickoff return for a touchdown, his second in as many weeks. And then Will Muschamp has the defensive chops. His defenses are going to play hard. So I don't think physically he has the roster yet to go to Atlanta and win, but I do think that he can have that team in contention this year with games against Florida and Georgia that might be a little uneasy at times for the Gators and the Bulldogs.
Love talking SEC and LSU with Matt Moscona. Join him on After Further Review. That's a show from 3 to 6 Central Time, ESPN Baton Rouge, simulcast on ESPN New Orleans. Matt, we appreciate the time, man.
My pleasure, Mark. Thanks.